So my name is Goldenberg. I work for the Groene Amsterdammer, which is a weekly Dutch magazine. We write a lot of long reads, features, investigations, also have a literary section. So today I'm mainly going to talk about Dutch active clubs, as well as some activity in Belgium. I don't know whether Alexander Riesman would call them active clubs. We did for the purpose of the article, but I'll elaborate this in a bit. I didn't do this research alone, but I worked together with a Dutch colleague as well as Belgian colleagues and research collective Bellingcat. Just a quick note before starting, I'm not going to get into ethics too much, but I just wanted to point out that as a journalist, I'm aware that the scope of sharing is quite big when our articles get traction. And for a lot of right-wing extremist movements, that's actually what they want to reach. They want to have this bigger audience. But in the end, in the article, we didn't share any names of the active clubs we investigated. We didn't share any pictures, but for the purpose of this presentation, I will be a bit more open considering the audience has been vetted and the scope is limited. So let's just get started. We identified 5 Dutch active clubs in total, to literally identify as active clubs, having the name in their like all their social media, etc. And 3 others actually do exactly the same and do the same activities, but just don't have active clubs in their name. We did see that there's basically a national network, because a lot the Netherlands is quite small, so a lot of activities are being done together. So they do train together. They sometimes just go abroad together, training camps, etc. What we also notice is an overlap between, for example, White Lives Matter activists and active clubs. So people just make contacts within the right-wing extremist environments and then just banter through it. Some emphasize certain things like the idea of training and therefore being prepared for this inevitable civil war, and others just want to be prepared to protect their country. But in the end, both mentally and physically, the extreme right collides very well in the active club movements, as it's both physically as well as ideologically aligning. As just mentioned, active clubs are no ordinary boxing schools. This is an example of the conditions for membership for one of the Dutch active clubs. You have to meet a few conditions. One of them is that you have to be white, European of blood, mind, and soul, as you see on the slide. In Dutch, it says blank, which has the connotation of purity, and it's not like white that you use for skin color, but it's something that media don't use anymore because it has the associations with racist colonial past. You have to do martial arts, lift weights, calisthenics, be pro-white, etc. As soon as you join a channel, similar channels pop up. Alexander just showed them as well. They all look alike, and it's really, easy to get in others once you get in one. They don't only work on Telegram. A TikTok video with these requirements has circulated and has been viewed almost 15,000 times since then. So they're not really being vetted online that strictly. On Telegram, members groups have about 1,000 or more members. Some are a bit smaller. Some messages are read like over 4,000 times within a day, just like if you are a nationalist in 2024 who does not do martial arts and lifts, what the hell are you doing? That was a call for action in January, and within one day, like 4,000 people saw it. Oh yeah, we visited one of these boxing gyms in the east of the Netherlands because we geolocated it. And actually the gym employee that rented this yeah, Jim didn't know that the people using it were extremists. So what he actually jokingly said was they looked like they could use some strength training themselves, and now he doesn't allow them to train there. So sharing awareness and actually signaling the extremist activities proved to be quite important. So in the Netherlands, we actually see that the American playbook or Robert Rondo's playbook is being adhered to. Not only do they do graffiti with Free Rondo, referring to him directly, they also try to hide in plain sight. For example, they don't really use the Dutch regular flag, which is red, white, blue, but they do use the Prinsenvlag, which now has associations with the Dutch fascists and later Nazi political organization and party, the NSB. And they always use orange instead of red. And they always use the Prinsenvlag instead of the Dutch flag whenever they go abroad or meet with others to train. Another important thing is you need to hide in plain sight. If you're successful, have friends, things like that. It makes it's harder to demonize you, which is just Rondo's playbook that they've been copying. Oh, my slides. Yeah. So the dog whistles, as you see, well, they often use stickers. They call it plaktivisme, like sticker activism, and they often actually ask, for example, in White Lives Matter groups in the Netherlands, to first share some sticker sharing and spreading before they actually allow you to get into the real group. So they do some vetting. And then there's the graffiti we just saw. They have their own merch just to make fascism fun again. As you see, this was during one of the training camps or days. He's signaling like the white power signal in OK sign, and the T-shirt that's like really in front of your face has like a race against time, the 14 words, and 88, which is age 8. We all know what it stands for. Next to that, you see again the Prinsenvlag, but below one, like that was this Christmas, they kind of stopped to hide in plain sight and just, I think one time they organized a Christmas dinner, and yeah, I don't think it's subtle anymore, just having the swastika, dessert. Actually, they just adhere to the playbook that Alexander just explained. You see them training together. It's all about the perceived white victimhood. The interest in MMA and combat sports makes it more appealing for a lot of people to just join, and it's also an image appealing to women. So I really understand the question about the connection to Andrew Tate, because there is some overlap, and I've also seen some activity, especially among younger members, that they do reference to him, but that's something in the last year I didn't see. So the National Coordinator for Counterterrorism and Security in the Netherlands also talked to us for the article, and they really highlighted the fit boy culture that's being used by active clubs now, and the emphasis on martial arts, masculinity, healthy living, physical gatherings, and brotherhood. Makes it an interesting platform for right-wing extremist ideology, but without always emphasizing ideological aspects. So instead of constantly debating what you exactly mean, etc., they just train together, and then once they sit in the car, they start talking. Let me see. I just want to switch to this slide before going back, because we went across the border and actually trained. I didn't, because it's a bit harder as a woman to get in an active club. But one of our colleagues in Belgium trained with Weerbaar, what means resilient. It's a club of a lot of Schilde en Vrienden people that go to it. Schilde en Vrienden is Belgium Flemish right-wing youth movement, which is also a bit identitarian. And they really emphasize victimhood, powerlessness, and anger. And besides, they have quite a big following on Instagram, considering they don't have any posts, only stories. And they always use dog whistles just to get people involved. So just having get active and references to active. One of their members also, when talking to us, called it his active club. Yeah, and if you don't know what it means, it could be just a reference to his gym, but we all understand that it wasn't a coincidence. Just getting back to the Netherlands. Let me see. Yeah, so the worldview they propagate revolves around just the theories and ideas, or I wouldn't say theories, just the ideas that a lot of right-wing extremists adhere to. But they try to hide it and disguise it under just training together. And there's nothing wrong with that. It's just us being healthy, just us seeking for brotherhood. But the pending question is, will it catch on with a larger group of vulnerable boys in the future if there will be a major catalyst? So in Netherlands with COVID, like in many other countries, we saw a really stark increase in adherence to conspiracy theories, for example, and another catalyst could be an indication for growing membership of active clubs as well. I think I'm a little bit short in time, so I will quickly just show also what Alexander showed, that they do cross the borders, they do train together. The Dutch active clubs are quite active abroad. So last week in Paris, they joined the European Fight Night in Hungary. We identified this one person boxing against a Greek guy, and he's been active not only in active clubs but also in White Lives Matter in the Netherlands. Yeah, this is some theory which we will not dive into now. I would like to thank you for your attention, and I'm really open for any questions by email. So don't hesitate to reach out. I won't stay for the last